Attraction dating online. Are you ready to master the world of online dating? In this module, we're going to cover how to develop a magnetic attraction online and become absolutely irresistible in the dating world. When you apply the principles and techniques you learn in this guide, not only will your available dating options skyrocket, but you will gain the knowledge and confidence that almost guarantees you success on any date. So what happens next? You've posted great pics, you've written that perfect profile, you're getting messages from people who are a direct match for you. How do you keep things interesting? So what happens when a person takes a cue and starts chatting? That's really the intelligent question, isn't it? I don't like to make one thing straight over here. The internet is like any other highway. It's not safe until you get to know your way around. So what I would suggest would be to trust your instincts and proceed with caution. You could sound like a very warm person, but please be extremely cautious about giving out any personal information. Let the other person know that you would prefer to be known by a handle that you use, or even better, you could tell the person to call you a pet name, but let the person know that it is indeed a pet name, because later on you don't want them to think that had been your real name. It's a fun way to interact with someone and make them feel unique, especially when you choose something that describes something you like about them. Memory is important. The human brain is indeed a remarkable thing. It's capable of storing and processing such a wide range of information that even a supercomputer would shy away when compared to it. But due to the virtual explosion of information, our memories have become very selective. This means we can't remember everything that we see or hear. So don't trust your memory when it comes to chatting over the net. You might meet a lot of people over the net. You might chat with a couple of them. So eventually it might become difficult to remember all of them and their details as well. So what you can do is you can add them to your friends list using their handle, so that helps you remember, because your handle is a unique identifier that you would use. You can also have a file or folder in your computer where you could put in the interesting things or copies of chats that you might have. And if you do have a genuine lapse of memory, the best thing to do is be honest with a person. Tell them, I know we chatted the other day, but I'm terribly sorry. Can you please refresh my memory about it? Avoid boring topics when you're making small talk. There are a few tricks that are best for the initial talks so that an intimacy is not developed, and at the same time, you do not have to struggle for matters of common interest. You can talk about the weather, sports, movies, music, and even food. You don't want to just go right into controversial or divisive topics. It's bad taste to discuss religion and politics and family matters at the initial stage. It's bad taste. You can make jokes, but I'd avoid the dirty jokes. Once you've talked more than once or twice and you feel comfortable with the person, you can give that person your email address. But remember, this is the first step towards virtual intimacy. Not everyone is comfortable with jumping right into lovey-dovey talk or physical talk. So save it until later or until they bring it up. There are many people who feel like an email will never have the warmth of a personal touch. And it probably doesn't, but it is an excellent way of communicating. Meeting face to face. This is what it's all about. Choose the meeting spot carefully, and not your house on a first date. Something public, and hopefully something that features your shared interests. You also want to leave your mark by letting them take something home that will remind them of that first date, Something simple, a ticket stub from an event, or maybe a card that you write a special little note on, or take a dried flower and paste it on a card and then say, hey, this is something that I made for you. I'd like you to remember me by it. Dress your best, but always make sure it's always appropriate for the time and the situation of your date. If you're having lunch together, dress in a business attire. If you're having dinner together, maybe your dress would be more casual. These days, splitting the cost of a date is quite common. But if that's your plan, it's still a good idea to clarify that in advance. Don't wait till the check comes and, can you give me some? You want to avoid any unpleasant surprises after the end of a good date. So here's the first date continued. Multiple dates? Don't feel guilty if you end up arranging multiple first dates. You don't have to feel obligated or committed to anyone you only went out on one date with. And so what if you run into the date number one while you're with date number two? Introduce them. Say, hi, this is my friend. This is my friend. It's a good chance to observe their reaction. They might end up being your husband and wife one day. Make a great first impression by making sure you smell good and don't have bad breath, that you're dressed appropriately. Most of all, remember to have fun. They're probably even more nervous than you are, so help ease the mood by trying to be charming. Use a bit of tame humor and help them feel comfortable. Bring a gift? Sure. The key is to limit it to something simple, not too expensive, so it doesn't come off like you're bribing them into liking you. Choose something relevant to their interest and that you remember from previous conversations. And if they don't bring a gift, don't worry about it. You can make light up and you say, hey, next time you bring a gift. Above all, don't give up. Remember, most dates do not end up turning into anything anymore, so don't get discouraged. You'll probably have to put on multiple dates before you find someone that is just right for you. Final thoughts. If things don't work out with someone, remember to be the bigger person and part gracefully. If you're the one who decides to break it off, try to explain and treat them with the same care that you'd like to be treated with. Just be direct and honest and explain that you don't feel you're a good match. But you say, I would sure like to maintain being a good friend with you. That's a great way to keep a distance. If you're on the opposite side and being dumped, then don't take it personally. Don't get upset. Remember, you cannot be a match for everyone, and the person is actually doing you a favor by not wasting any more of your time. All right, the ball is in your court now. Use what you've learned responsibly. Be organized. Make a list of what you want out of life, what you want, and write down the negatives about yourself, the positives about yourself, the things you like about yourself and don't like about yourself. Keep all this information in your forefront and choose what to share with everyone. Save the best things for those intimate relationships. Now go out there and have fun. Remember, online dating is the fastest growing way that people are meeting each other these days, and it's not going anywhere. So let's learn how to use it the best way in order to be successful in today's dating world. Clark Gable once said, "It's an extra dividend when you like the girl you've fallen in love with.